Right now at 5, a former Monroe County jail nurse is charged with second-degree sexual assault of an inmate.
You're watching WKBT La Crosse. This is News 8 Now at 5.
Good evening and thanks for joining us for News 8 Now at 5. I'm Ken Kozorowski. Amy's currently on assignment. Investigators say 53-year-old Teresa Fenico initially denied she did anything wrong until detectives told her she was caught on camera spending extra time in an exam room with an inmate, and the two could be seen in close contact and possibly kissing. Fenico told detectives she felt pressured by the inmate to have inappropriate contact. She also admitted to giving the inmate her antidepressant medication as well as tobacco and cash. Fenico is free on bond. She will return to court next week. All right, let's send it over to meteorologist Eric Dean for a quick look of your forecast.
All right, good evening, Ken. Good evening, everybody. Hey, it was cooler today as compared to yesterday and even as compared to Wednesday. Take a look at the temperatures outside. We're in the 40s and 50s, 46 in Eau Claire, 47 Black River Falls, Sparta. You're at 49, 48 in Viroqua, 48 in Decorah. 46 in Preston as well as Rochester, and we're substantially cooler as compared to 24 hours ago. To be exact, between 6 degrees cooler to 10, 12 degrees cooler depending on your location. And remember 48 hours ago we were in the 70s. Today we struggled to hit 50s. So we'll see a mix of sun or a mix of clouds and stars outside for the evening and overnight hours. You see a light west-northwesterly wind by the 9 o'clock hour. We'll see temperatures staying in the upper 30s to low 40s by the time 11 o'clock rolls around. Now, we have a freeze warning in effect for the southern portion of the News 8 Now viewing area. So from Winona County, La Crosse County, Juneau, Adams, Fillmore, Houston, Vernon, Crawford, Richland, Winneshiek, and Allamakee County. Again, freeze warning in effect from 1 a.m. until 8 a.m. Some places will see overnight lows in the mid to upper 20s. Some places could see wind chill factors in the upper teens. We're going to break everything down hour by hour in the first alert forecast in just a few minutes. Over to you.
All right, thanks very much, Jack. Well, 3rd Congressional District candidate Brad Paff says his opponent Derek Van Orden doesn't share Western Wisconsin values because of his involvement with the January 6th Capitol riot. House Majority Leader Steny Hoyer and Wisconsin Representative Gwen Moore joined Paff for a press conference today. Both Hoyer and Moore talked about how traumatic the events at January 6th were and are supporting Paff's candidacy. Paff says this race is about choosing someone who's put Wisconsin first in his career and someone who was part of an insurrection.
What the people have shared with me is, Brad, this cannot continue. We cannot have somebody that was out there and part of that.
Now, Van Orden did not respond to Paff's comments about January 6th. Instead, he sent News 8 Now a statement that says he speaks to hundreds of folks every week and says people care about high inflation and crime. He added, quote, "It's no surprise to see Paff standing with radicals that vote with Nancy Pelosi 95% of the time." A federal judge in Wisconsin has dismissed a lawsuit seeking to block President Biden's student loan forgiveness program. The Brown County Taxpayers Association argued that Biden's plan misused executive power. They also argued it was discriminatory because it benefited loan borrowers of color. According to the judge, he tossed the case because the group cannot challenge Biden's program because they are taxpayers. Similar lawsuits have been filed in other states, including Indiana, and a case in Missouri that led the White House changing loan forgiveness eligibility. The U.S. economy added 263,000 jobs in September. While economists say it's a strong gain, it is down from the month before and marks the 2nd month in a row of falling totals, pointing to a labor market slowdown. In a one-on-one interview with one of President Biden's economic advisors, Heather Bushey told News 8 Now, although hiring has slowed from levels earlier this year, she is pleased the economy recovery from the pandemic is slow and steady.
Which is what we need to see. We need to see those job gains getting down to a level that's sustainable over time and yet getting people back into work.
According to today's report, the unemployment rate fell back to 3.5% from 3.7%, which she says the president's Build Back plan and investment in child care is helping get more people back to work. But she acknowledges more work needs to be done. New York City Mayor Eric Adams is declaring a state of emergency. Shelters there are overwhelmed, becoming more and more packed every day as buses of migrants are dropped off in the city. Adams is calling the increase of asylum seekers a, quote, crisis situation set to cost the city at least $1 billion.
They should stop sending buses to New York. New York cannot accommodate the number of buses that we have coming here to our city.
The mayor is directing city agencies to coordinate their efforts and asking for emergency federal and state aid. The city expects the shelter system will surpass the highest number of people it's ever seen today. There's no new information leading the White House to believe Russia is planning an impending nuclear attack on Ukraine. But as Natalie Brand explains, President Biden is expressing concern.
Russian missiles obliterating this apartment building in Zaporizhia is the latest example of Russian forces stepping up its deadly attacks in civilian areas it annexed illegally last week.
Very angry. It's not possible in our time.
But as Ukrainian forces have made gains, Russia has become more desperate. Russian President Vladimir Putin recently alluded to the possibility of using tactical nuclear weapons. President Biden commented on the threat Thursday while at a fundraiser. He said, quote, "We have not faced the prospect of Armageddon since Kennedy and the Cuban Missile Crisis."
This is a very serious war that the Russians see as against NATO, not just against Ukraine.
Ian Bremmer, president of Eurasia Group, says while he agrees it's the most dangerous period since 1962's Cuban Missile Crisis, he still characterizes the risk as very low.
The White House and President Biden have directly let the Kremlin know exactly what would happen to Russia if they were to do that. I think the likelihood of nuclear weapons use, thankfully, is very, very low. I'd put it at 5%, for example.
The White House says there's been no new nuclear assessment that prompted the president's comments and added the U.S. has not seen a reason to adjust its nuclear posture. As the West urges Putin to de-escalate, President Biden in his comments Thursday also said he's trying to figure out how Russia can find a way out of the conflict.
The potential off-ramp, frankly, is not in the next few weeks. It's likely in a couple of months or more, as it becomes clear that the front lines are more settled, that the Ukrainian counteroffensive is petering out.
Experts hope there's still an opportunity for negotiations to bring this 7.5-month war on Ukraine to an end. Natalie Brand, CBS News, Washington.
Ukrainian officials say since September, the bodies of 530 people have been discovered in the recaptured areas of the Kharkiv region. October is Domestic Violence Awareness Month, and a local program is providing care to survivors. Gunderson Health System's Domestic Violence and Sexual Assault program helps support victims by pairing them with advocates. Advocates provide a number of services like crisis counseling and financial assistance. They say getting the word out about the program is a big part of preventing violence.
Knowing that a program like ours is available right here in a healthcare system is important because this is a safe place for people to come and talk to their medical provider or clinician.
The program is free, voluntary, and confidential. Local dogs can't contain their excitement. Today marks the ribbon-cutting ceremony for Paws Park at Veterans Memorial Park in West Salem. People gave a round of applause for all the hard work put in to make local pups happy. It began as an effort from dog owners and involved planning, designing, and raising $50,000 in just over a year. Organizers say putting the time in was worth it for their pets.
It's kind of needed in the area. I think dogs need a place to run and play, and it's a great social activity for all our furry friends.
The off-leash park isn't fully complete. Organizers are considering adding more elements like some agility equipment. Coming up tonight at 5, a story without an end. Until now, only on 8, the memory of a Black River Falls man who lived in the area 80 years ago, finally etched into stone.
Blaine's Farm and Fleet's big snacking and candy event is going on now. It's time to stock up and save on a massive selection of craveable chocolates, savory trail mixes, classic candies, and gummy go-tos, all on sale. Like 1-pound bags of Blaine's brand gummies, 2 for just $4. 1-pound bags of Blaine's Western Trail Mix, 2 for $6. New at Blaine's, 12-ounce Farm and Fleet Select Dark Chocolate Favorites, 2 for $7. Plus, this weekend only, don't miss free in-store samples of our sweet, salty, snackable selection.
No one expects to see me at their doorstep.
But it's happening more because of Tony Evers.
Evers released hundreds of violent criminals from prison.
Some of the worst offenders in Wisconsin history.
Some struck again.
And others will.
That's why we are with Tim Michaels.
He'll keep dangerous criminals behind bars.
Out of our homes and off our streets.
As a veteran, Tim Michaels knows how to keep Wisconsin safe.
We stand with Tim Michaels.
It's time for Jollibet Family Farms Fall Harvest. There's no substitute for homegrown freshness. Stop by today for some of Jollibet's homegrown squash, kraut cabbage, popcorn, and cranberries. Take a tractor or horse-drawn wagon ride to the Great Pumpkin Patch and pick your own pumpkin every weekend in October. Large selection of fall decorations, including corn shocks, gourds, specialty pumpkins, and straw bales. Take home some pumpkin cheesecake bars, cookies, pies, or bread from our homemade bakery. Buy fresh, buy local. Open daily year-round. Jollibet Family Farms, West Salem.
Stay warm and cozy this winter with La Crosse Fireplace Company and receive 26% federal tax credit. Wood stoves with a modern style like the Quadrifire or the classic look from Vermont Castings. La Crosse Fireplace Company has the stove to fit your style and needs. Purchase before the end of the year and receive a 26% federal tax credit on the entire package and installation. La Crosse Fireplace Company, because your place is by the fire.
Tim Michael's company has been sued numerous times for sexual assault and harassment in the workplace. But he says
People love working at Michael's.
women said they were groped, assaulted, and pressured to have sex with their bosses.
We have a great work culture.
Higher-ups called the women liars and fired those who spoke out. So when he says this,
We have a great work culture.
know that the culture comes from the top.
Thank you for watching News 8 Now, our community, your station.
One small town tale hasn't had an ending until now. One of the first Black River Falls businessmen is finally being recognized permanently. As News 8 Now's Dua Israr explains, it took 80 years and some work by the entire community.
In a small town,
People can live in a community their entire life and not really know much.
some stories are passed down from generation to generation.
There's thousands of stories in those communities.
You'll find others hidden behind stacks of files and newspaper clippings.
He sort of pieced his story together from that.
Historian Paul Reichen's father was a Lutheran pastor in the 1960s.
He had an elder parishioner named Chris Olson.
Officiant Thorwald Reichen spoke at the funeral for Olson's wife, creating a bond between the two men. As a kid, Reichen spent many years at Olson's home.
He never told me the story of Yep Ging. My father did, though.
Yep Ging, the Chinese laundryman.
He became very well known in the community. He was a very kind man who worked very hard.
The story of the only Chinese laundryman of Black River Falls would remain a tale to Reichen for several years.
He signed his...
Until he had a conversation with the historian at Black River Falls Library, Mary Woods.
In those 28 years, there's probably not a story that has touched my lives more than the story of Yep Ging.
A story without an end.
When I asked where is Yep buried, said he's buried in an unmarked grave.
The unmarked grave and the tale tied to it inspired Woods and Reichen to fill in the blanks.
He was one of the first businessmen downtown to have a gramophone, so he wanted to have music playing when people came in.
Ging's story a puzzle.
Yep was known for liking the winter sun.
Pieced together word by word.
He just became more alive to us.
But that wasn't the end for Woods and Reichen. It was making sure
that Yep Ging will never be forgotten.
Donations from the community placed Ging's name where it belongs.
And I'm sure the sun is shining on him.
The tale of the Chinese laundryman spans generations.
I did know Chris as a young man. My own father died 9 years ago. So certainly I was feeling nostalgic as I did it.
And nearly 80 years later,
nobody should be forgotten. Nobody.
The final chapter of this small town tale is etched in stone. Reporting in Black River Falls, Dua Israr, News 8 Now.
A fantastic community effort. Coming up next, picking up the pieces. Florida residents are just beginning to pick up after Hurricane Ian, and it might be months before life returns to normal.
And we have an alert night for the evening and overnight hours as temperatures will drop into the mid to upper 20s. I'll break everything down hour by hour in a few minutes.
With the right tools and a little hard work, you can do it yourself. And with the right kind of paint, you can finish the job faster. Pittsburgh Paints and Stains exceeds your expectations with products that can cover your walls in one coat. So instead of another coat of paint, you can finally get outside. One coat paint means time better spent. Pittsburgh Paints and Stains, exclusively at Menards.
It's a common statement when people visit our showroom. I had no idea it was so big. Come and see windows, doors, siding and sunrooms, kitchens, bathrooms and flooring during the Fall Home Show at the Board Store. Lowest prices of the season. All you need for the life you lead. Interior or exterior remodeling. See it all at our 2022 Fall Home Show. Lowest prices of the season. Only in October. Only at the Board Store. 2022 Fall Home Show at the Board Store.
Find comfort in your world in Stressless Furniture. Take a time out, have a seat, and enjoy a special offer from Drury's in Fountain, Minnesota. When you purchase just 2 stressless chairs or a sofa, you'll earn $750 towards Eckerness accessories or additional seating. With 4 seats, like a sofa and a chair, you'll earn $1,100. And with 6 seats, you'll have $1,500 to spend. Don't wait. It's time for Stressless. It's happening now at Drury's in Fountain, Minnesota. Voted your favorite furniture store.
My name is Zijun Jia. Call me Dr. Jia or John. It's okay with that. And recently we developed the new process to treat the wastewater, to clean, including remove the PFAS. Like this system, we can clean the water within 1 minute. The wastewater come in, basically 20-30 seconds, done. This is new technology. That's the one nobody knows that yet. So that's kind of we try to do that.
Punishing inflation, retirement savings evaporating, home values crashing, and Mandela Barnes is oblivious. Barnes just supported a massive tax increase on middle-class families and an army of IRS agents to go get every penny. Barnes also supported Biden's student loan forgiveness plan that cost every taxpayer $2,000. $2,000 less to survive on. Can you afford Mandela Barnes? Wisconsin Truth Pack is responsible for the content of this advertising.
Thank you for watching News 8 Now, our community, your station.
Cleanup and rescue efforts continue in southwestern Florida, where Hurricane Ian's death toll continues to rise. Michael George has the latest on the recovery efforts.
Hurricane Ian is long gone, but residents in southwest Florida are still dealing with heartbreaking damage and loss.
Unfortunately, I lost my husband in this storm, so it's pretty devastating.
In Lee County, which saw the highest number of deaths, search and rescue teams are looking through demolished homes and buildings for signs of life.
Getting in and out of there and making sure that our teams stay safe and don't get hurt, along with our canine people and our dogs. It's very difficult.
The only access bridge from Florida's mainland to heavily damaged Pine Island reopened to residents this week, giving way to grief and despair.
It's like a death of a loved one. You know, just like the pain just comes and goes.
This group of volunteers traveled by boat to bring water, food, cleaning supplies, and even toys to families in need.
I reached out to just my team and kind of see what the need was, what happened, and then it just grew from there.
While Ian has passed, Florida Governor Ron DeSantis says the danger remains, even further inland.
The issue is like you have all this water that's built up, and the coastal areas drain a lot easier.
The governor says Florida's Disaster Relief Fund has raised almost $40 million to help people in need as the state braces for a long recovery ahead. Michael George, CBS News.
Governor DeSantis says there have been about 2,500 rescues since Ian hit. Almost 100,000 structures have been searched. Well, for a look at the skies a little closer to home, let's send it over to meteorologist Eric Dean.
All right, good evening, Ken. Good evening, everybody. Hey, we're seeing a mixture of sun and clouds at this hour. You can see there on City Cam. Outside right now, that temperature, half 100, 50 degrees outside. Humidity is at 50% with winds out of the north-northwest at 8 miles per hour. All right, let's get into the nitty-gritty, shall we? First of all, we have that freeze warning in effect for Winona County, La Crosse County, over towards Fillmore, Houston, Winneshiek, Allamakee, Crawford, Richland, Vernon, Juneau, and Adams County. This starts at 1 o'clock in the morning and goes until 8 o'clock in the morning. So here's the reason why. Overnight lows around 25 to 30 degrees. Some places could see feels-like temperatures in the upper teens. Now, how to prepare? Let your faucets drip, cover that sensitive vegetation, Set your heat to a minimum of 65 degrees, and please, please, please bring in your pets. And one way to stay alert is you can take that QR code right here, grab your phone and scan that. It will take you to the News 8 Now First Alert weather app, which is a free app on the app and Play Store. Now, here's how low we're going to go. We'll see temperatures going in the 20s and 30s across the board. La Crosse will go to 34, New Albany 33, Waukon 33, Lansing will go to 34, Westby 31. The farther north you go, the colder we get. We see temperatures going in the 20s from Whitehall over towards Cashton, and then from Ladysmith down towards the Fall Creek area, seeing temperatures in the upper 20s. So a chilly evening nonetheless. Now here's how we get there. Here's our temperature tracker. Keep an eye on these numbers, because once we hit freezing and below, these numbers are going to change from blue to this magenta color. So watch what happens as we go into the 2 o'clock time frame. Sparta, Volk Field, Eau Claire, you'll see temperatures at or below freezing. We'll add in Rochester and Austin by the 4 o'clock time frame. As we go into the 7 o'clock time frame, Preston, Boscobel, you'll be flirting with the freezing mark. And then we get above freezing as we go into the 9 o'clock time frame. The good news is we go back into the upper 50s, low 60s for tomorrow, and that warming trend will continue as we go into your Sunday. We go to 65 on Sunday, 68 on Monday. Keep in mind, our average high for this time of year is 66 degrees. As for precipitation, nothing on the radar scan right now. This is going to get a break as we go into the weekend, into the first part of next week. It's when we get into Tuesday and Wednesday that precip chances start to pick up. But again, clear skies for the evening and overnight hours, abundant sunshine for your Saturday. The clouds will start to pick up Saturday night going into your early Sunday, then they're out of here. And then we take a look at the weekend. Look at that, abundant sunshine with temperatures going into the mid 60s for your Sunday. So here's a balance of your 8-day. We'll see temperatures going into the upper 60s for Monday. How about 70s for Tuesday? And consider that a nice cameo appearance of early fall, because we go back into the 50s for Thursday and Friday, and then that trend of 50s continues as we go into your Saturday. So again, we have that freeze warning in effect for parts of the News 8 Now viewing area. Please use extra caution this evening.
All right, thanks very much, Eric. Well, some say the perfect duo is a peanut butter and jelly, but maybe this time of year, could argue it's a pumpkin and a pint. How to get both, next.
Monday on News 8 Now this morning. It is pretty cold outside today, but come listen to Derek Sibley's Monday forecast to see what Monday has in store for us. And if you happen to miss the games over the weekend, well, you're in luck. Our morning sports blitz gives you all the highlights that you may have missed. We hope you have a great Friday night. More News 8 Now is coming up after the break.
Fall Home Show going on now at the Bourne Store. Visit today and see what's new and get your $250 discount coupon. Register for prizes and visit with designers. Hope to see you soon.
Ron Johnson and China. Here's how it works. While in the Senate, Johnson made $57 million from a family business whose growth was directly linked to China. He invested in Chinese factories, and Johnson's family business got $50 million in loans from the Bank of China. Johnson pushed for shipping American jobs overseas while he got rich. Ron Johnson's out for himself, not us. SMP is responsible for the content of this ad.
Why shop the Habitat Restore? We offer new and used building materials, furniture, appliances, home decor, and more at 50 to 70% off retail pricing. New items arrive daily, so it's never the same store twice. Find us on Facebook to catch sneak peeks of products throughout the week. Feel good knowing your purchase helps build and repair homes in our community, as 100% of profits stay local and support Habitat's mission. Open Wednesday through Saturday from 10 a.m. to 6 p.m. off Highway 16 past Woodman's.
Meet Brad Path. He never had a job outside of politics. Seriously, he hung around long enough to climb that political ladder. He'll never fix Washington. He won't even try. Me, I spent 26 years fighting for our country. I served as a Navy SEAL, and I know how to get things done. I'm Derek Van Orden, and I approve this message. Let's try something different. Let's change the people we're sending to D.C.
Look at that. What you're seeing is Olson Solar Energy working in the sun to make the sun work for you. What you can't see are the lower or no energy bills, selling extra energy back to your electric company, and the increase in property value without an increase in property taxes. The sun works for homes and businesses. The only thing you need is Olson Solar working in the sun to make the sun work for you. now booking installations for 2023. Call Olson Solar Energy today.
Thank you for watching News 8 Now, our community, your station.
If you're looking to get into the fall spirit, the Onalaska Art Keepers have you covered. Tomorrow, the group is hosting a free art auction at their second annual Pumpkin and a Pint at Dash Park. For $10, patrons can paint a pumpkin and get a drink as the Don Harvey duo plays some live music. Organizers say there will be a lot to take in.
The art pieces that were posted at businesses and schools and everything around Onalaska, people could go around and do a scavenger hunt, and they'll have the ability to bid and take home their favorite art piece at our live art auction.
So Pumpkin and a Pint starts at 10 Saturday and runs until 2. We'll have a look at what's coming up at 6 when we come back, and Eric will have another look at tonight's forecast.
It's fast food and service with authentic Mexican flavor at Senor Villa. With fun daily specials and cold, refreshing margaritas you won't want to miss. Come to Senor Villa in La Crosse and Onalaska. Authentic Mexican food and flavor.
Mandela Barnes is spreading a lot more than just peanut butter. Barnes didn't pay thousands in property taxes on his Milwaukee condo, bought with family money. While not paying property taxes, Barnes bought a second condo, went to Vegas, even sat courtside for a Bucks game. Asked about his unpaid taxes, Barnes said,
It's Juneteenth. Y'all, hey, this Juneteenth, they want to talk about property tax.
Now Barnes wants to talk about peanut butter. Senate Leadership Fund is responsible for the content of this advertising.
We know the value of a healthy pet for you and your family. Working together, we can optimize your pet's health. Van Loon Animal Hospital Wellness Clinics are held every Tuesday and Wednesday by appointment. All office call fees are waived during our wellness clinics. Our talented technicians will help you design a wellness program for your pet based on risk factors. Call Van Loon Animal Hospital at 608-526-2200 from 8 a.m. to 5 p.m. Monday through Friday to schedule your appointment.
There's no other place where my story is possible. My mom was a teacher. My dad worked third shift. It was our ticket to the middle class. That's the promise of America I'll fight to protect. While others send our jobs overseas, I'll bring manufacturing back, invest in our own workers, and stock our shelves with American products. And with a middle class tax cut, you'll be able to keep more of what you earn. I know the promise of America, and no one will fight harder to protect it. I'm Mandela Barnes, and I approve this message.
It's Carl's Red Tag Sale Time. And you know what that means. Save up to 55% on floor displays, one of a kind, and scratch and dent major appliances. Save up to 40% on clearance TV display models. Save up to $500 on your outdoor cooking solutions. Save on entertainment stands, motion furniture, and mattresses. Dad's just getting started.
Look for the red tag. Carl's, your servicing dealer since 1956.
Make it a family dinner night every Sunday at Senior Villa, where kids eat free, one per adult, open to close. And it's a menu you know they'll love. Senior Villa, authentic Mexican food and flavor in La Crosse and Onalaska.
Coming up on News 8 Now at 6, the pandemic has been hard on pretty much all of us, especially kids. Now, new research from the University of Wisconsin finds student athletes who couldn't take part in team activities suffered higher levels of depression and anxiety. What's being done to get those young athletes back into their games and activities tonight at 6.
All right, one final look at your forecast as we help you plan your evening and overnight hours. Going into tomorrow, you see that red at 8 a.m. That's because we have that alert night overnight because of that freeze warning. We'll see temperatures in the low to mid 30s, going to 52 by the noon hour, upper 50s, low 60s by the 4 o'clock hour with plenty of sunshine. And then we go back into the upper 40s, low 50s for the 8 o'clock hour tomorrow night. But again, we do have that freeze warning in effect. We'll talk more about that coming up in the 6 o'clock hour.
And in the meantime, if you don't have the News 8000 First Alert weather app, good time to download it.
Yes.
Absolutely free. All right, thanks, Eric. And thank you for joining us at 5. We hope you'll join us again at 6.